Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Pokhara, Nepal, and today I want to do a response video to some of the parts of in the interview that Andrew Tate did with Tucker Carlson. I'm not doing the whole video because sorry, I have a little kitty here because it's I think 3 or 4 hours long. I just want to do this one little snippet. So let's see what's happening.
In June, they were charged with human trafficking. They're now under house arrest until their trial. Are the Tates guilty of human trafficking? We're not their lawyers, but it's worth noting that as of today, not a single woman has come forward to say that she was kidnapped or imprisoned or moved across international borders against her will by Andrew or Tristan Tate.
Okay, so again, this is all my opinions.
It's also true that in some ways,
what he just said there about to date, there's no women that came forward that they know, etc. I think this is important because if you are going to accuse somebody of something, you need to have evidence, you need to have witnesses. Well, I don't know. The countries where I live in, that's how it usually works. You have to have evidence and witnesses. But maybe in Romania, things are different. I don't know.
The charges against the Tates seem inevitable, like they were always going to happen. Accusing a man of a sex crime is the fastest possible way to discredit what he's saying.
Okay, that's true. Not just discredit what he's saying, but when you charge a man of a sex crime, it's not just you don't just discredit anything he says. You discredit everything about him, everything he has achieved, every single thing. And perfect example of this is Michael Jackson. Twice was acquitted by a jury. Twice. He was investigated by the FBI for 10 years. But his reputation is still ruined. Because that's how you get to wreck a man's reputation. Another example is like Scott Ritter. Now, Scott Ritter is, he does a lot of military strategy analysis, especially now with the Ukraine-Russia war. And I don't know all the facts, but he was accused of, I don't know if it was rape or statutory rape, or something to do with sex. And I think he was acquitted, because I don't really care much about that, but I'm just thinking about it now. But like even him, so it doesn't matter what comments he makes about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. All that people focus on is something that he allegedly did. I'm saying allegedly because I'm not sure. I didn't do research on this. What he allegedly did, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know ago. And just because of that, it means that every other aspect of his life has to be discredited. Because somehow this is how it seems to work. Okay?
Days after WikiLeaks revealed that the U.S. government had been spying on its allies and lying about it, Julian Assange was arrested in London for rape. 9 years later, prosecutors dropped the case against Assange for lack of evidence, though somehow that fact was not as widely covered.
Again, there, Assange. Same thing. The minute he becomes an inconvenience, they have to get him on something. And anything to do with rape or sex, especially if it involves children, but just sex in general, it's going to ruin a man's reputation. It's going to discredit him. Even though years later, he's acquitted of it. And even with Julian Assange, I was just talking to some people online the other day. And we were all talking about how he's a hero and he should not be extradited. And there were people saying, oh yeah, but he's a rapist. And it doesn't matter how many times you explain, no, he was already acquitted. It never happened, blah, blah, blah. Nope. because they know this is how you get people. But again, my opinion is this is wrong. It's wrong to falsely accuse people of things just because they are doing something that you don't like, especially if you are a government. But I know there's a lot of you out there who think that this is the way you should do things. You guys, all I want to say to you is when Elon Musk manages to get people to Mars, you need to get on that spaceship and toodaloo to Mars. Because I don't think you need to be around us normal people here on Earth who still care about truth and justice and fairness. Just putting it out there.
Is that what's happening here? Again, we don't know. Jeffrey Epstein's dinner partners insist that Andrew Tate is a pervert and a criminal. Maybe they're telling the truth.
Jeffrey Epstein's dinner partners. Okay. Tucker can also be very sarcastic, satirical.
Either way, we think Tate's views about men very much deserve a hearing. So we flew to Romania to talk to him. We're posting the entire interview here on Twitter because we've been assured it will not be taken down for ideological reasons, as so much of his content has been. The video is long, but if you can, take the time to watch it. Make up your own mind about Andrew Tate. Here it is. So what are you charged with?
That's a really good question. I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos to steal the money from the TikTok views.
Wait. TikTok, I thought it was all about his webcam business that he had years ago, I think 10 years ago. TikTok is now. So this means things that happen now. So again, you people who keep bringing up his webcam business things that he did years ago, it's not about that. It's not about that webcam business. It's about this TikTok thing that's happening now. So bury that webcam story. We don't need to bring that up anymore.
Recruiting girls to make TikTok videos and stealing the money. So it's really a financial crime?
It looks that way, and it's very interesting because the girls who they've identified to add to the file are saying that we're not victims of anything and this isn't true. But the state believes it's true, and the state thinks that I, as a 35-year-old man, woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok views.
So in the United States, I think the belief is that you were charged with human trafficking.
Yeah, that's human trafficking because what you do is you force a girl to work against her will for financial gain. That's human trafficking. And their justification for this is that girls do TikTok. Some girls I know who they've found who say they're not victims have TikTok accounts.
How do you...
Wait. Okay, so this is how I'm understanding it. Although these girls are saying, no, we are making TikTok videos on our own. It's got nothing to do with Andrew. He's not taking money from us. He's not forcing us. That doesn't matter because the government is saying, the media is saying, and also a lot of people online are saying that no, these girls are being forced and he is taking their money. So therefore, he's committing a crime. So that is very strange. Because if those girls are supposed to be the victims, but they are saying they are not, that usually we would side with whatever the victim says, right? So it's very topsy-turvy now, as far as I can see, because now it doesn't matter what the victim says. This is not important. What is important is what the government says, or what the law says, what the public says, and what the media says. This is more important. Victims, you keep quiet. You have nothing to say here. You just keep quiet. Times are changing. Times are changing.
Force someone to do TikTok videos.
I guess the prosecutor is going to have to explain that, isn't he? It's a very interesting scenario I'm in, and I'm inside of Romania, so I have to show a degree of respect to the Romanian judicial system, and I have to show a degree of respect to the situation I'm in. But the overall charge is that there's an organized criminal group. There's a group of us. I'm the head of it. My brother is below me, and we use the lover boy method to convince women to do TikTok videos to make money so that we can steal the TikTok money.
Okay, I did talk about this lover boy method thing in my other videos. From what I know is both Tristan and Andrew, they are in relationships now. Whether they are married, I don't know if they're married or not, but they are living with women who could be their wives, or I don't know, and they have children. So it's a bit strange that they would still be going out and convincing women to fall in love with them, because that's the lover boy method. I mean, yeah, actually no, I can understand them maybe going out and getting other women to fall in love with them. What I can understand is that in 2023 there are still stupid women who would fall for that, who would know these two guys and who would obviously know whether these two guys are married, because I mean, if you're with them all the time, you would know, or people would tell you. I don't know, because I'm not with them. I'm not even in their age group, so obviously I'm never going to be with them unless I'm working with them. But if you are in an intimate relationship, because in order for the woman to fall in love with any of the brothers, of course the relationship has to be quite close, quite intimate. So if you are a woman and you are in an intimate relationship with a man, surely at one point you have to find out whether the person is married or in a relationship, or if he has children, right? And from what I know that Tristan and Andrew, they are in some kind of relationship. I think they actually married, I'm not sure, but anyway. Then I don't know how in 2023 you still have stupid women who will knowingly go with a man who is already married or already in a relationship. Okay, falling in love is one thing, because this you cannot control. But then still engaging with him in that intimate way, and if they are forcing them to make these TikTok videos, allowing yourself to be used in that way. And like I said before, where is the emancipated woman? What has happened to her? Are there no more emancipated women around who can make decisions about their own lives, about their own bodies? Do they have no responsibility anymore? Have we gone back to the time where um, a man has to be responsible for how we behave? I thought with the first wave feminism, this is what we were fighting for to have our own autonomy of our own lives, so that we don't need a man like our husband or father or brothers or cousins or any male figure to have this responsibility over our actions. Now we've emancipated ourselves. We now want to take responsibility for our own actions. Well, anyway, that's how I thought first wave feminism was. I thought it was all about, I don't want my father, once I'm over 18, I mean, he can advise me, but he's not going to force me to do things. And same with my husband. We could, because we're husband and wife, there are certain rules, because marriage comes with rules. But still, he does not have like veto power over me. But now it seems like we gone back to that time when a woman has no responsibility for action because she's just stupid. She knows she's emotional. She's got no control over herself, and that's why there has to be a man that has to control her and take responsibility for anything she does because she's a victim. She doesn't even know that she's a victim. So if she does something, a man has to be held responsible. I just don't understand why we have gone so far back. Doesn't make sense.
So there's no, just to be clear, you are not accused of pandering, of pimping, of
No.
forcing women to have sex with anybody.
No, not forcing them to have sex.
Oh, listen well. All those people who are still going on about he's a pimp and blah, 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 blah. Listen, the court case has got nothing to do with pimping or pandering or anything.
That's not restraining their movement, not stopping them from living a
Okay, also not restraining their movement, not stopping
full
them.
life, but the fact that we are somehow convincing them to have TikTok. Very interesting. I don't think.
But there's no actual. I'm asking you this because I do think it's a widespread belief that you were accused of pimping.
Yeah, no, that's nothing to do with any of this case. Absolutely.
Listen well. People who keep going on, he's a pimp, blah, blah. It's got nothing to do with this case. There's no pumping in the case files.
Nothing. And it's kind of scary because the crime in itself of human trafficking is a unique one because they can ignore the statement of the victim. So the girls have come forward and said, this is insane. You've just picked us because we're near Andrew and we're his friends. But the whole idea of the crime is they can say that she's brainwashed, right? She's under duress. So you can ignore her statement. State says she's a victim regardless of the fact that she says she's not a victim.
You see, we have lost, women are losing their autonomy. Like, the states will say what you are because as far as they are concerned, us women, we are easily brainwashed. We are always under duress. We cannot make our decisions about our own lives. We're like a pet. Everything has to be decided for us. We don't know how to do these things. So if somebody says or the state says, no, you've been trafficked, you are under duress, you've been brainwashed, you have been used, blah, blah, you cannot say, no, I consented. No. As a woman, you cannot say that because you don't have autonomy over yourself. No. The men now have autonomy over you and the government. They will now decide. So tomorrow, if you decide you're going to marry some guy, it looks like, if you want to look at what's going on here, it looks like the government can step in and say, no, she didn't mean it when she was consenting, he brainwashed her. And as far as I'm concerned, that's why I don't believe in romantic love, because to me, romantic love is just it's a brainwashing. So yeah, in a way I can understand that when they say she's been brainwashed. So are we going down that road now? We went down that road, right? Okay.
So it's very interesting because the difference between sex and rape is consent, right?
Right.
But they remove all of that. They're like, nope, you're a victim. No matter what you say, we're deciding you're a victim. And they've chosen them. And of course, these girls do nothing pornographic. They've never had sex with anyone, nothing to do with that. So they've picked TikTok. So it's scary. Imagine you're a full-grown man anywhere in the world today. They can find two girls who have TikTok on their phone, which is every single female on the planet, and they can
No, I don't have TikTok, so it's not every single female on the planet.
accuse you of forcing them to take the TikTok money. And even if the girls say they didn't do that, this isn't true, then you're still a human trafficker.
But force, what does that consist of? Forcing someone to do something? Are they accusing you of using violence or?
No, they're accusing me, and this is the thing, they're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice.
And by the way, these charges presumably are public, so.
They're public, and this is extremely serious, but if you actually.
Okay. So these accusations are public, right? So I just want to tell those people out there, because like I don't have to go and research and look this up, because in this case I am on his side. Yes, I said that. I'm siding with Andrew Tate because I'm about truth and justice and fairness. So far everything he said doesn't sound fair, it sounds unjust, it doesn't make sense. It actually just sounds downright idiotic. And YouTube, you can shadow ban me for using the word idiotic. I don't care, because it's idiotic. There's no other word to describe it. But for those people, those from the camp, he's a pimp, he forced the girls, the lover boy method, blah, 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 blah. If you really want to know what's happening there, Tucker just said now, all the documentation is public. So you can maybe go and look that up and then read through it. And then, enlighten yourself on the situation. Instead of just talking stupid things on the internet or just in general, just judging, which is not right, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Well, that's how it works in my country. I don't know about in your country, but where I live, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Analyze the overall case against me. They're saying that Andrew and his brother, by being nice men, convinced girls to have TikTok accounts and then take the money. And it's very interesting because inside of the entire case file, there's not a single financial transaction to us for money.
Okay, again, if there is no evidence of financial transaction, I don't know, how is that human trafficking? Because isn't human trafficking also about taking people and using them for monetary gains? Because if it's not, if you're just taking them and using them, then it's, I don't know, it's probably enslavement, which is totally different crime. Anyone who knows about this, please let me know, because I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just thinking, there's no evidence of any financial transaction. So what do you hold up in court? What does the prosecutor argue in court? Because the defense will be like, where is the evidence? Evidence cannot just be hearsay, Your Honor. You cannot, it has to be concrete.
What are the penalties?
They're extremely severe, 5 to 10 years in jail. And I've already served coming up now.
So you can get 5 to 10 years in jail for a crime where the victim says that they are not victims, and also when there's no evidence, but you can still serve 5 to 10 years. Scary.
Now 7 months in a form of jail. They can only
So
hold
you are essentially incarcerated right now.
Absolutely, I'm on house arrest, and that counts as jail. You can only be held 6 months without charge. I was initially picked up, thrown in a cell without charge, and I think the intention of the entire investigation at that point was to find the crime because they had very, very weak evidence. They contacted 2,000 people who know me or knew me. They tried very hard to convince some female somewhere to come forward and say something bad about me. The media machine, which works hands in hands with the justice machine, as you know very well, did exactly that. In fact, they offered bribes effectively. They'd call up ex-girlfriends and say, if you have anything bad to say about Andrew, we can pay you $50,000 for the story. And they tried.
Okay, I see now. Again, it's just weird how this is playing out, and it's weird how people are taking this, because common sense would dictate, if 2,000 women were contacted, and of that 2,000 women or people, not even one says that they are a victim of these crimes that him and his brother are accused of committing. And I think the crime that is being committed is by these media and whatever people bribing people, offering people money to come forward. Because I mean, they could easily just even contact me. Because I could just make up a story and say yes, I'm also a victim because I want $50,000. I could do the same thing. Anyone who needs money could do that. Would take the bribe. So I think the crime, if there's any crime that so far, just from what they're talking here, that I see is being committed, is this bribery one. This is really bad.
Tried very hard. They didn't find any evidence of anything. They then released me on house arrest, and then 2 days before the legal limit in which they had to drop everything, they charged me with whatever they had from the beginning, which is very little. And now we have to wait for the Romanian judicial system to analyze the file and, God willing, throw it away.
How long did you spend in jail?
I was in jail.
Okay, yeah, so I only want to go up to there because now they're just going to talk about other things. Yeah, I don't know. I think if anybody's out there who is a lawyer, I don't know, or interested in justice and the system, and I wonder what are you making of this whole thing? Of course, maybe you're not from that country, which is Romania, so they have different law. But besides just the law, what about the media's involvement in this? Like example, the misinformation and disinformation that they are spreading about the case, even about the Tate brothers. Now with this bribery thing, where they're bribing people to come forward. I mean, just what do you think about this? And then what about all these people who are online who keep going on about things that have nothing to do with the case? This is just another form of, again, tainting the evidence. I I don't really invest in this case. I just like I watch it now and I talk. Just from watching what is being talked about here, if this is the truth, if Andrew Tate is speaking the truth here, then I don't know, for me, I'm just using common sense. Nothing makes sense here to me. Nothing. It's just weird. It's women are losing their emancipation. It's like I say, the law is one thing because that's Romanian law. I don't know how things work there. But then, because Tucker said something about USA, about when it comes to human trafficking, that's international law. It's also weird with human trafficking, the way that law works, because now anybody can be a human trafficker. I mean, my son could be a human trafficker if two girls had to say something about him that could be totally false, or the state could just decide that these two girls are being trafficked by my son. And what can he do? Because that's the state. And then you've got the media with all the things they doing to fuel the fire. And then also just people in general who are highlighting things that have got nothing to do with the actual case, but making it in such a way that those unimportant things that they're talking about, that is what the crux of the case is about. We are living in weird times, people. Weird times, that's all I want to say. Anyway, if anybody has anything to add to this, please feel free to subscribe, to comment, to share. Just keep the language clean because, YouTube filters, the public cannot see what you're saying if you are being rude and using bad language. So that's all I have to say about this case. Until next time, cheers.